The Blue Pill by Humongous. Quote, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." Unquote. Jiddu Krishnamurti. Humanity on Earth, being offspring of the cosmos, is deeply embroiled in its own soap opera. Only this show's entitled, "All My Retarded Children." It's not only acceptable to execute your own species, it's celebrated, as you're bestowed medals for doing so. You revere people who collect more meaningless strips of fabric, known as cash, than others. Mass murderers are your leaders. You remodel your house, yet do everything you can to decimate the planet upon which it's built. You've no way off Earth, should you be forced to escape, and you're doing nothing to fix that. You watch egomaniacs pretend to be other people on an invention called a TV, while wishing you were them. You believe you're the ultimate species, yet you've never left the planet and couldn't do so if you needed to. You forfeit your life by adhering to cults known as religions that keep you segregated from your own kind and compel you to denounce others. Yet you're fine with all this. In fact, you believe this is reality. That's what you get when you take the blue pill. In the words of Bill Hicks, quote, "Quit putting a goddamn $sign on every fucking thing on this planet," unquote. Ostensibly, Sam Walton, the founder of Wal-Mart, was doing his damnedest to accumulate more cash from his hospital bed mere days before he died. What a fucking loser! Pay for 10,001 hookers so you can best Wilt Chamberlain's record. Overdose on psychotropic drugs. Give your billions, including all the stores you own, to starving people the planet over. Anything worthwhile, but instead you spend your last moments in this corporeal form collecting worthless swatches of cloth? Come on, people. When are you going to scream, "Enough's enough," and drop this monetary system that's killing our species on Earth? Quote, "Why do we work so hard? For what? For this? Paper? Other people. They bomb, they steal, they get away with murder. They create currency out of thin air and loan it out at interest. Interest! Why aren't you like that? Why aren't we like that? Because we're sleepwalking, brainwashed debt slaves. That's why. It's pretty simple. You work hard, watch TV, take pills, and vote once a year. You operate strictly from your left brain. As for all this paper, i.e. money, it doesn't even exist. It's just numbers on a screen." Unquote. JoyCamp. Still, every day billions of us curtail our lives over something that isn't even real. Stock markets rise and stock markets fall, and yet back in reality, nothing is happening. Nothing. Still, imbeciles leap to their death from high-rise windows as a result. What a bunch of morons! How stupid and pissed off would they feel if they knew they killed themselves over nothing? Good idea. Using condoms. Bad idea. Reusing condoms. Good idea. Not believing in a monetary system. Bad idea. Killing yourself because of a thing that doesn't even exist. And what of these anthropogenic laws we're told we have to adhere to? Talk about a joke less funny than buying a double leg amputee a pair of shoes. In Germany, it's illegal to include anything but hops, malt, water, and yeast in beer you're making. Can you imagine being arrested for putting strawberries in your ale? What are you in prison for, big fella? I killed and ate my whole family. I burnt an entire city to the ground, raping anything or anyone I could find still alive in the smoldering ashes. What are you in for, little man? I put strawberries in my beer? You're mine now, bitch. In Virginia, it's a crime to practice oral sex, whether giving or receiving. What the fuck? Picture this scenario. You're in bed with your wife and feeling affectionate. You crawl between her legs, and the next thing you know, Jack Lord and the cast of Hawaii Five-0 crash through your plate glass window, armed like a SEAL team, ready to arrest you. Governor Rick Perry incriminated on abuse of power charges? What is that? Sounds like something as egregious as sprinkling when tinkling. Why not prosecute him and all politicians for what they're truly guilty of? Preserving a system that's annihilating us all, i.e., mass murder. At one point, it's not okay to eat meat on a certain day. The next it is. If you're stupid enough to believe any man-made law is valid, you're exactly what the powers currently controlling us want. The only laws that exist in reality are known as natural laws. Universal, non-anthropogenic conditions ruling the consequences of behavior. Natural laws are constant, on Earth anyway, cosmic mandates acting as the governing dynamics of consciousness. We could go into detail here, but our books are about concision and ease of understanding. Hence, a man-made law would be a decree not binding anywhere but within the myopic minds of those mandating it and those wishing to adhere to it. Let's say something like not being able to turn left at a particular street sign. Hit the intersection in question and hang a southpaw late at night. Your car won't be broadsided, and although you may incur a ticket, you'll still be able to perform the maneuver in question. An example of a natural law would be walking off a 500-foot cliff over a bed of jagged rocks. Invariably, you'll die. This is conclusive and immovable. The law of gravity cares not if you're an innocent child taking that step off the precipice or a mass murderer the likes of Barack Obama. You'll meet your demise either way. When it comes to natural laws, there's no sympathy and no malice. There's only what is. Natural laws exist in the paradigm of those who take the blue pill, but folks in this domain choose to believe otherwise. Rather, they drown themselves in what's known as cognitive dissonance, something a considerable portion of the human population engages in when shown the truth. You're presented with reality, but because it doesn't jibe with how you wish to exist, you force yourself to believe a lie. Glaring examples of this are the more than 1,000 nukes the U.S. government detonated on its own populace. Since it's too scary to believe the American bureaucracy could have committed such vicious atrocities out of malice, people choose to believe the insane justification these genocidal acts were executed for a demented, non-existent tenet known as, quote, national security, unquote. Once again, how do you drown a population in radioactive fallout for its own benefit? Adding insult to injury, you send your children to propaganda factories, termed school, to be indoctrinated into believing this obvious bullshit. Engaging in cognitive dissonance is lying to oneself, and doing so is a blatant indication of insanity. In contemporary terms, cognitive dissonance is known as denial. That said, Venture forth into a public arena and literally prove to the populace 9/11 was an inside job. The facts supporting such are overwhelming. No amount of evidence matters. Observe the reactions of people to your exposure of the truth. You'll incur everything from rage to profuse weeping to being ignored as if you weren't there speaking. Every technique will be employed so people can continue to immerse themselves in cognitive dissonance, residing in their fantasy realm as opposed to living in reality. Again, welcome to what you get, this paradigm in which you currently reside, when you take the blue pill.